All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're cracking open the Architect's Toolkit for 2026. Because let's be real, AI is writing a huge amount of our code now, and that's forcing a massive shift in what it even means to be a developer. It's not just about what you can build anymore, it's all about how you can think. And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of it. The game has totally changed. A developer's value isn't just about cranking out lines of code anymore. Nope. It's about architecture, it's about planning, it's about that high-level thinking. So, naturally, the tools we use have to evolve too. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about what it means to be a developer in this new AI age. Then, we'll dive into the must-have tools for building modern UIs and the new backend stock. After that, we'll look at some tools designed to literally make you think faster. And we'll wrap it all up with a clear roadmap on what you should be learning right now. Okay, so first things first. With AI spitting out mountains of code, we've suddenly got two brand new productivity challenges that we as developers need to solve. You know what's really wild about this is the shift in identity. We're moving away from being just coders and are now becoming architects. Our main job isn't the nitty-gritty implementation anymore. It's the high-level design, the systems thinking. It's creating the master plan for what needs to be built in the first place. So this is the crucial takeaway. Every single tool we're about to talk about is aimed at one of these two things. We either want to help the AI write better code and do it faster, or we want to seriously supercharge our own ability to think, to plan, and to architect these complex systems. That's the whole game. All right, let's get into our first set of tools. We'll start with the UI, the part of the architect's grand plan that the user actually sees and interacts with. First up, Shad/UI with Tailwind. And listen, this isn't just some passing trend. It is the new standard. And here's why that is so important. If you go ask an AI like Gemini to generate some UI code, this is what it knows. This is the language it speaks. So to work effectively with AI, you really need to know this stack. And this is exactly why it's so powerful in an AI-driven world. You're not installing some clunky, rigid library. You just find a component you like, run one command, and boom, the actual source code gets copied right into your project. That means you or your AI assistant can then go in and tweak it with total freedom. It's brilliant. Next on the list is TanStack. You know how user expectations for web apps have just gone through the roof? We're expected to handle these incredibly complex UI states now. I'm talking about things like prefetching data as a user scrolls or instantly updating the UI, what we call optimistic updates, before the server even gets back to you. This stuff used to require huge custom-coded solutions at places like Google or Facebook. TanStack makes it accessible to literally everyone. Then we've got Framer Motion. It's not exactly new, but man, it is everywhere now. From an architect's point of view, this is all about the user experience. Those super fluid animations and intuitive gestures, they aren't just for show. They make an app feel polished, professional, and just better. Framer Motion makes putting them in almost laughably easy. And finally, for the UI, we've got a tool that isn't about building, but about verifying. Playwright. Yeah, it's a testing framework, but it has a new, absolutely critical role. It gives our AI coding partners a way to check their own homework to make sure they haven't accidentally broken something. But that kind of begs the question, right? Why has this become so incredibly important all of a sudden? Well, because as AI writes more and more of our code, we're naturally spending less time doing manual code reviews. But let's be honest, AI-generated code can have unintended side effects. It might add a new feature perfectly, but subtly break an old one in the process. Automated tests are your safety net. They let you move fast, they let you empower your AI, all while knowing that any little mistakes will be caught automatically. Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from the user-facing blueprint down to the system's foundation, the new backend stack. And there have been some massive shifts here. So on the backend, 3 tools are really shaping the new landscape. For those really complex, long-running workflows, especially in AI engineering, Temporal is becoming essential. For just getting your ideas out there and deployed fast, Cloudflare Workers is a total game changer. And in the Python world, FastAPI has pretty much become the default choice for building APIs, all thanks to its speed and built-in type safety. Now, let's talk about the big languages in AI, Python and JavaScript. A major weakness for both has always been their dynamic typing, which can lead to all sorts of nasty runtime errors. This is where tools like Zod for JavaScript and Pydantic for Python are lifesavers. They give you a rock-solid way to validate data and enforce a schema, catching errors before they cause problems, which is absolutely critical when an AI is writing half your code. But the undisputed champion, the absolute tool of the year for the backend, has to be Postgres. Why? It's simple. It has systematically swallowed the core features of a bunch of other specialized databases. You don't need a separate database for vector search anymore. You don't need another one for full text search, or another for JSON data. Postgres just handles it all, on top of its already world-class SQL capabilities. And this quote from the source material just nails it. Postgres has become Shaktiman. For those who might not know, Shaktiman is a famous Indian superhero, basically the Superman of India. And that's exactly the point. Postgres has become a superhero database. It's combined 4 different superpowers: relational data, vector search, full text search, and JSON support, all into one tool. If you're going to bet on one backend technology, seriously, bet on Postgres. Okay, time to shift gears again. We've talked about tools for building UIs and backends. This next category, this is about tools for the architect's most important job, thinking. Remember, your productivity is now measured by how well you can think and plan. So tools like tldraw are priceless for just whiteboarding out system designs. Then you can literally take a screenshot of that drawing, feed it to ChatGPT, and use it as a thought partner to brainstorm and reason about your architecture. And to manage all this work, Linear has emerged as the project management tool built for developers with a huge focus on keyboard shortcuts and speed. It just cuts out all the bureaucratic nonsense. Now, for a bit of a controversial one. There's this new category of wipe coding tools that can generate entire applications from a single prompt. And let's just be brutally honest for a second. For writing real production-ready code, they are utterly terrible tools. But at the exact same time, they are absolutely amazing tools. So what is going on here? How can they possibly be both? And here's the paradox. You would never use these tools to build your final product. But for quickly spinning up a prototype, for turning a random thought into something you can actually see and click in minutes, just to see how it feels, they are unbelievably powerful. They are tools for thinking and for visualizing, not for shipping. So we have covered a ton of ground. The big question is, with all these tools flying around, where should you actually be focusing your time and energy? Let's break it down really simply. If you're a fresher just starting out, focus on those foundational backend tools. Get really comfortable with FastAPI, learn Postgres inside and out, and master data validation with Zod or Pydantic. Now, if you're a working professional, you should definitely master Postgres and get into Temporal. But also, and this is key, make sure you are fully up to speed on that entire modern UI stack we talked about earlier. So there you have it. That's the new landscape. We've got tools to help us plan like an architect, tools for building the foundation, and tools for testing the whole structure. But that leaves one giant question hanging in the air, doesn't it? What about the AI tools that actually write the code? Which models, which assistants, and what are the best ways to actually use them? We'll dive into all of that in a future explainer.